And welcome to a brand new year of Channel KRT, where insert Jim Carrey quote that is relevant to the topic here. I'm Tyler Green.
I'm Kit, give me some ketchup, Quinn, and I have no hopes for this year, but I will try.
Let's see, if we all haven't exploded by now, I'm Randy, and we're back on the mask.
Yeah,
Woo!
fucking
Yeah.
We're all
All right.
calm maskists here.
The mask mania.
To the last 3 people who are still alive and listening to this podcast, thank you so much.
Yes,
You can come out of your bunkers now. It's okay. Everything's fine.
It's amazing. You're the last 3 people alive on this earth, and you chose to listen to us. Do you know how, awesome that is? Thank you so much.
We have a new novel called The Commune Mask Festo, and it's written by Carl Mask.
Carl.
Make
All
sure
right,
you leave this for when the rats finally have their turn as the dominant species.
And we have 2 very special guests also coming from their bunkers. I'll introduce them one by one. First off, you know him as the guy behind Laughinghearst Entertainment, pulling duty as writer, producer, director, and actor of shorts and films such as I'll Be Dead for Christmas and Shower Tap. Please welcome Geordy Skolnick.
Woo!
Thanks so much for having me. I am so excited to be here.
And as for our second guest, you know her as an actress from the New York area, having recently starred in productions of Romeo and Juliet and Tennessee Williams' 2-character play. Please welcome Ashley Pope.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great to be here.
It's another double guest episode. Nobody stop us.
Nobody.
Yeah, that's right.
Or else.
Yeah, that's
Ain't
right. We're back to
nobody.
doing 2 guests. 2 guests. What are you going to do? Call the cops?
Yeah.
We're doing 2 guests, 2
what do we care?
masks.
Well,
What's
guess
fun-
what? Swatting is a felony.
What's funny about doing this episode post 2021 is now we live in a post Space Jam 2 world where now we can bitch about how Space Jam 2 did the mask dirty.
Yes.
Oh,
it was-
they-
Space Jam 2 did everyone dirty, let's be
Yeah.
real.
Very
Let's
true.
let's face it. The best part of Space Jam, and the only part I watch anymore, is the one where him and Bugs are going through all the different Warner Brothers universes. They're going through fucking Casablanca, the DC universe.
Which was pretty epic. It was pretty
Yes,
epic.
yeah.
I'm going to say that.
Also, just straight up, the best part was Roadrunner and Coyote and Mad Max Fury Road. That was it. That was the peak of the movie. And then it all kind of died down when they threw Rick and Morty in there.
But going back to the mask real quick, what really pissed me off about that cameo, or lack thereof, was the fact that there was this rumor that he was actually going to be the referee of the game, and they were banking on getting Jim Carrey back to at least voice the mask, but he's in the referee suit, but he's literally on the sidelines.
Yeah.
And there's not even any, goofy CGI. He's just reacting.
I heard that it was going to be a CGI cameo and that he was doing the voice. And then and then they leaked pictures of the actual makeup, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's definitely not him.
Yeah.
I remember I saw that post. It was these weird CGI leaks of a bunch of Warner villains that kind of had us all thinking, oh, is this going to be the Goon Squad? It's going to be Pennywise and Harley Quinn and the Wicked Witch. Nope.
The CGI shot of the Wicked Witch that was behind the scenes, that genuinely kind of scared me the first time I saw it.
It was basically that fake No Way Home trailer with the terrible CGI Peters.
Yeah.
That's basically what those behind the scenes pics were, and we all fucking fell for it.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so we've gone on the record about our relationship with the mask before, but starting with Geordy, what are your guys' relationship to the mask?
Well, the mask, I saw that when I was 6 years old. I'm throwing my age out there, but I saw it when I was 6, and I love the CGI. I love just the whole aspect of this basically possessed magic mask that turns you into a cartoon character. And I loved Bugs Bunny when I was a kid. I loved and how he changed reality and would always get his way. He was bad and he was naughty, but he would always get his way at the end. He always won. And it was the idea that, you have a regular guy that's not doing too well, and he finds this one thing that gives him everything. And it was a fun film. The whole thing was fun. The musical numbers, the pop culture references, it just, the list goes on. And I just became obsessed with it. I adored it.
The pop culture references don't really date the movie at all. And that's
No.
the thing. For the most part, The Mask has aged, I think, quite flawlessly, in terms of, writing and the special effects. I mean, for 1994 special effects, they set the bar so high, and quite frankly, I still think they look great after almost, 30 years now?
Yes.
Absolutely.
I think it's definitely a strength of the movie that is supposed to, kind of remind you of, the old, 2D Looney Tunes and Tex Avery cartoons.
Yes.
Which really kind of works with the limitations, and it makes it look like it still looks like 90s CGI, but it doesn't look like 90s CGI because it's dated. It looks like it because it's timeless.
It's a time where, again, not to say that there isn't a lot of hard work that goes into CGI now as well, but it's a time where they had to get really creative with CGI, and that's why it looks so damn cool. They were bringing this style to life and able to bring all these cartoony effects to life as well. It was amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And even to see it on film. Yeah.
I mean, even with the, kind of limitlessness in CGI animation now, we're still getting some good stuff, and I'd love to see more of these, experimental ways with CGI, like the Peanuts movie, like the Spider-Verse movies.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And maybe
Absolutely,
something like Wish, but
maybe
better.
a little better written.
Yeah.
Better. Sorry, I just better.
Yeah. And then also I feel another reason that The Mask isn't dated at all is because it's a loving tribute to cartoon history, similar to Who Framed Roger Rabbit and Looney Tunes Back in Action.
And not only that, but just the concept of The Mask, not putting the comics into account, which those are a separate beast in and of itself, but having this artifact that changes your personality entirely and, just bends reality to your will, that works so well, in any day and age, especially now, I think.
I can basically sum up the Mask comics as, imagine if a cartoony shenanigan happened to a real flesh and blood human being. It wouldn't end pretty.
Yeah.
And it was basic, and it was and it also had a similar vibe to the Nutty Professor. It also had a similar. Not, and I'm not saying that it was there was touches of it. There was even people saying, because obviously, Jim Carrey, he adored, I also watched the original comedies of the 60s and 70s, and there were critics that were comparing Jim Carrey in The Mask to Jerry Lewis in Nutty Professor in the 1963 one. Well, it's the id, the ego, the switching from personalities to another, but the fact that it was on film too in the 90s, and to have that kind of animation was just unbelievable.
I mean, I saw a Mask movie in theaters, but not the one that people love. Ahem.
Also, funny enough, I think Jim Carrey has to be the most compared modern comedian to Jerry Lewis. I can't really think of anything and yet they're so separate from each other at the same time.
Yeah, they're very, very, very different. I think that he surpassed any kind of because when he was first starting out, they probably the physical comedy, but he's done things that Jerry Lewis would even probably never even thought of attempting, in terms of just talent.
It feels like Jerry Lewis already had a ton of facial muscles. Now just multiply that by 50 and give them to Jim Carrey.
His facial muscles have facial muscles.
It's like comparing the cutscenes from Sonic Adventure 2 to Sonic Adventure 1. Sonic Adventure 1 is obviously Jim Carrey in this situation.
Yes. So Ashley, what about you? What's your relationship to The Mask?
So that's actually quite a funny story, I would say. I remember when I first saw The Mask kind of in its little DVD case sitting in the grocery store aisle right before we were about to check out. And I was always terrified of it when I was younger. So doing The Mask now, I feel very liberated creatively because I get to go back and conquer my childhood fear of The Mask.
It's a good thing that the Son of the Mask DVD cover wasn't a thing back then, because
yeah, Ash, I don't know if you've seen Son of the Mask, but if you thought, the one scene of Jim Carrey actually wearing the mask for the first time was terrifying, it's the Son of the Mask is literally that, but on fucking cough syrup and meth.
No, I've seen some clips. It is ridiculous.
It's
The most,
it's a very cheap. It just looks really just not even cheap. Just like they missed the mark badly.
Yeah, they really did.
that kid who won the Nintendo Power concert, he was better off with the jacket and the Nintendo 64 than he was ever even spending a second on the set of Son of the Mask.
Oh, agreed.
Oh god, I feel so bad for everybody involved. That's not Jamie Kennedy.
So someone could
Yeah.
ask me, hey, you want to meet Cameron Diaz? It's on the set of Son of the Mask too. Nope, give me the jacket and give me a Nintendo 64. I'm sorry, no.
On a funny note, I just realized that the Monk movie comes out tomorrow at the time we're recording this.
Oh,
So
yeah, that's
justice
right.
for Trailer Howard.
Oh
for
my
her.
god, please, justice for Trailer Howard. She deserves so much more.
Hell
God,
yeah.
absolutely.
I like Monk.
She is just one of those people who can pull off that hairstyle and approach me, and I won't be scared that I'm going to get yelled at.
Agreed.
Oh yeah. So Ashley, did you have anything else regarding your relationship with the Masker?
Yes. So obviously when I first watched it, which I think I was like 17, and I was really excited to just sit down out with a couple friends, and I really loved the whole zaniness and the
Yes.
vibes from the mask itself. Something about just Jim Carrey's like freedom and his performance of just like being entirely like goofy and just embracing that weird part of yourself. That's kind of what I'm hoping to bring to The Mask Gone Viral. I mean,
Yes.
obviously, you know, I'm not Jim Carrey, but just embracing that weird side that you hide from other people, that I think Jim Carrey brings to life. I really want to bring that to The Mask Gone Viral.
Yeah,
Jim
let's talk
Carrey
about that.
It was made for the people who make DreamWorks faces in their mirror at themselves.
No,
and think,
seriously.
Oh,
No,
that's actually
seriously.
kind of good.
I
Yeah,
mean,
no.
when I was younger, you know, I would always get told that I was like too expressive, or that like my face kind of gave it all away. And so seeing Jim Carrey do that stuff on stage, or not on stage, you know, and on screen, I was kind of like, that could be me. Like I can see myself in that.
And that is you now, because you guys are here because we're talking about your new fan film, The Mask Gone Viral.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yes.
Beautiful
Yep. The
fucking
mask
movie that
is
we are
back
all excited
again.
for.
The mask is Basque.
I watched the teaser today, and god damn, you guys did amazing with it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm going to watch it right now.
All right, Randy, live reaction. Let's go.
Randy, don't start singing Cuban Pete just yet.
So, Geordy and Ashley, in your own words, what is The Mask Gone Viral?
I would say that The Mask Gone Viral is really, I mean, we've talked about this, Geordy, but it's kind of like a romance, I would say.
Yeah,
it really is. It's
Ooh.
like a zany, fun,
Has
like
love,
romance,
has love.
like rom-com. You know, I think with any film, it's super important. You know, I can't see a film without that fun, like zany sort of romance, not only with like the other character Riggs, but romance like Madison kind of comes and finds herself and finds that self-love in the end.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
And
Mhm.
it's not without obviously like all the fun goofs and gaffs, obviously. But yeah, I think it's a really funny, zany, and heartfelt story.
Yeah, and it has a
Nice.
lot of those elements. You know, you have a person that's that's trying to, just like what you said, trying to figure herself out and just find her place in this world. And it's one of those things that like everything is going wrong. And
Yeah.
and it's like it's that perfect opportunity for the mask to make that one appearance. And she finds it, and her whole world gets like turned literally upside down. And
Yeah.
she becomes something massive. Like
Yeah.
a pretty big deal. A
I
pretty
mean,
big
yeah.
deal.
And I totally relate to Madison too, in the sense that she's this like you said, Geordy, this girl who doesn't know her place, like
Yeah.
is trying to
Right.
figure it out, and
Yeah.
and struggling with two different parts of herself that she can't really combine. But then, the mask brings that out. And
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's like a reflection of, I think it's going to be great for a lot of like girls like me. Like I see myself in Madison, but I see a lot of girls who could possibly relate to that, like
Oh, yeah.
being sort of goofy, being loud, and like feeling like they don't really fit in. Like it's not normal for girls to, I don't know, embrace that side of themselves. And then when you see Madison do it in The Mask Gone Viral, it's kind of like a, you can do it too.
Absolutely.
It
Yeah, one
resonates
thing-
with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One
Also, that whole thing about, it's hard for girls to like let ourselves like be weird, be a little like cringy.
Oh man.
I am sorry. I really just can't hate that hard on the quirky girl trope anymore. We
No.
need
To be cringe is to be free. That's what I
know
say.
what?
Yes.
The quirky
So
the quirky girl trope was liberation.
Yes, it really
More cartoony women, please.
And
Or-
listen, nobody does quirky, in this film better than Ashley and Madison. I gotta
We
say.
have-
yes.
We have
Gotta
had
say.
enough girl bosses. We need some girl failures.
We need
Yes.
some girl failures.
More D. Reynolds.
Yes.
Oh my god, yes. So Ashley, how did The Mask Gone Viral come across your desk, and what was the audition process like for that?
So the way that The Mask came about was I got this invitation to audition for the mean girl, or the villain in The Mask Gone Viral, Nancy, who is played
Nice.
by my co-star Chloe Breen, and she's lovely.
Yeah, I saw her content machine stuff. It's fucking hilarious.
Hilarious, right?
She's really fun. She's really fun.
Yeah, I originally had auditioned for the villain, and Geordy had actually told me that he had cast somebody entirely different for the role of Madison, but I decided after seeing that notification, it was sitting in my inbox for a little bit, I got that like actor fatigue after sending all those auditions. You're like, oh my God, should I even do this? Like, is anybody going to get back to me? And of course I sent in an audition, and Geordy immediately got back to me, and he sent me a huge like paragraph about about the mask and how exciting that it could be to work on the project. And then I actually also sent him a video of me singing, which we had discussed later on to talk about, just for like the final, because we want to do some little like jazzy mask stuff, I'm sure, with the singing, the dancing.
Hell yeah.
I was like sold. I was like really well. I really just threatened. It was a lot of threats. I was threatening her constantly, major harassment. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I was scared.
Yeah, it was. She was really just scared for herself at that point. She doesn't want to do it now. Just fear. No.
The audition is coming from inside the house.
Yeah, she's in the house. Get out of the house.
Get out of my house. Shotgun noise.
Literally, we had casted somebody. We had casted somebody else, but I felt like there was something that was left on the table that was never explored, and
the weirdness.
I was looking through these acting pages, and I was just looking through, and I feel like something's coming. And I came across Ashley's page, and I watched one of the tapes of the acting. It was funny, but it was also like, the character was like funny, cool, bitchy, hilarious, and just like all over the place. But it was also the physicality. I was like, this is The Mask. This is it.
Truly, it was like probably one of the most liberating auditions too, because I just got to like just improv and say whatever like came to mind. Like I think I mentioned like Ice Spice in my improv. And you said animal. I think animal glitter. Oh yeah, edible glitter.
Edible glitter. Yes.
Wait, so were you like improving as The Mask?
Yeah.
Nice.
Because Ashley auditioned for Madison. When we did the audition process, it was the Madison portion and the Mask portion. Just for us to see, get a sense of how it would be. And it was a lot of improv.
One thing I really love about how Gone Viral focuses on an actress is it reminds me how The Mask was always reminding me of the Sock and Bustin', so it's a really cool tie-in.
And plus, like, it's like nobody in this world wants to be seen more than an actor. Nobody wants to be seen and to be appreciated, to be respected. And also anybody that's pursuing their goals. They always have those people saying, oh, that's great, good for you, ... But it's like, the reality is it's not easy to go for what you care about. And sometimes you get self-conscious about it, but then you get that age, you're like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep doing it. So the fact that Madison is an actress in this, I felt like that was just like a perfect opportunity to flip it up with The Mask.
Yeah, what I like so much about the teaser that's on YouTube is that it does a pretty good job of setting up what the story is in 5 minutes. And not just that, but does a great job of selling, every character. Like, it does a great job of selling, that Madison is insecure about herself and she's going to find herself, Riggs is the laid-back friend who's a snarky asshole. Well, no, the real snarky asshole is Felix. I love Felix.
I also love that he's just casually running this shop full of artifacts. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing I like is that already, like, you guys have just, like, this immense chemistry between the four of you. Like, what was it like meeting each other for the first time?
Oh, wow. It was great, honestly. It's like you kind of I remember this moment. We were all kind of sitting there just talking about bands we liked. And I think it got to a point where everybody just started discussing like metal. And we started talking about, that we all liked System of a Down. And I think
yes,
it was Felix.
Yes.
Yeah, it was Aaron and Nathan who just immediately started like. What, do you remember this, Geordy?
Yeah, they were jamming. They
started jamming and they started like screaming it out, and it was just
we were
hilarious.
getting so crazy that like that our crew was like, Geordy, we're gonna be behind, and I was like, you're right, but I can't stop. Like, I don't we kept,
oh my god,
we would shoot and then we would just get sidetracked because we were having so much fun.
Yeah, the conversation was flowing.
That is the perfect energy for a Mask movie, I think. Is just everybody who is equally chaotic and all about, this wacky fucking concept.
Yes, it's just
Absolutely.
I knew immediately. It was we were all just a bunch of dorks with a dream, and that's kind of like I feel like we really meshed.
Yeah, it blended well, because when I first met, everybody in person, and actually, you, me, and Aaron, we were at a coffee shop.
Mm-hmm.
We met at a coffee shop to discuss we talked, but then we met in person. It's like I knew these guys for like months. We got along so famously, and that's important. That's important because to go to a story and with what this is, it's a big deal.
And it also feels like it's set perfectly within the Mask universe as well. Like, this feels like a really natural story to follow up on.
Yeah, you don't have to know all of the lore, like you can just watch this movie and be like, oh my god, like it's fun, but it's still got that Mask lore, it's just tame.
Yeah. I didn't want it to be something like people that people had to watch the original stuff. The people that were just casually looking through something, let me just check it out,
It's similar to how, I'll talk about it more once we start talking about the actual animated series itself. It's similar to how I always love the idea of getting to explore other people besides just Stanley. Wearing the mask is kind of everybody has their turn with it.
That's how I felt Son of the Mask fell flat, is that it focused too much on the dog and the baby rather than, fleshing out like the actual wear of the mask. Like you have.
You know what? I'm gonna say good because I'd rather stare at like a weird CGI cartoony baby and dog than whatever the fuck they called what they did to Jamie Kennedy. The mask makeup in that movie is literally, what if handsome Squidward was ugly?
He was Conan O'Brien if he fell into a toxic waste.
Yeah, he was a Jay Leno Conan O'Brien hybrid.
God, he was.
Oh God.
Now you can't unsee it.
What the? Ginger, no!
Go start singing Cuban Pete.
So, Geordy, I am curious, so how long did it take you to like actually write the script for this movie, and what was it like, coming up with the story?
I've said this in interviews before. Some of my biggest ideas I get in the shower. Like I'm in the shower and I've never done fan films before. I usually just did like my original stuff and I just wanted to do something. And the mask was always something that, I got a tattoo of the mask.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's a great tattoo.
And I said, you know what? I was thinking, do I have something? And I said, let's switch it up. Let me do like a female mask. And I knew that I wanted to be a female mask, but I also said to myself, if I don't feel anything, if I don't feel like there's a story, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to just do it for the sake of, let's just do a female mask. And it was just what we talked about, like the idea of just wanting to be relevant, and being relevant in a society now that is craving it. What's the biggest thing now? Social media, people fighting to be trendy, to get the views, to get the follows, to get the sponsors, all that. And it's like the mask back in the 90s was the ultimate viral. It was the ultimate it was the ultimate trend. You know what I mean? Like, I mean,
yeah.
if someone had a camera and recorded the mask in that world, he would have been a celebrity. You know, and it's like we live in a world now in which everybody has a phone and everybody can record. So if a random person wore it, and a person that's actually like, you know, that wants to have that attention wears it, you know, they're going everywhere. Like everyone's gonna know.
Yeah, like that idea just comes so naturally.
Just what we needed, Logan Paul getting the mask.
Oh, man.
Okay, we're keeping it out of influencers' hands.
Oh, wow.
Oh, God.
And also politicians. Politicians do not need it by any means.
I mean, we had a whole comic series about why the mask and politics do not mix, but I digress.
What would happen if you gave Skibbity Toilet the mask?
No!
Oh, God.
No!
I don't know what Skibbity Toilet is, and I'm too afraid to ask.
I went down a rabbit hole. I'm kind of balls deep in the lore right now.
I think it's like the newest generation's like meme. Like it's the first generation after Gen Z's like first meme.
It's like their
Yeah.
Ouija.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Ouija.
It's basically what Five Nights at Freddy's was 10 years ago.
Oh,
Yes.
gotcha.
We're gonna get the fucking Skibbity Toilet movie 10 years from now, and it's gonna fucking suck.
Or it's actually going to end up being like, it's all right.
Yo, what if they make a son of the Skibbity Toilet?
Oh, God.
Oh, I'm looking this up right now.
Oh, God, Geordy, don't do this to yourself, man.
That is totally not how I spelt it. I am home alone. Okay. I am unchaperoned.
I always feel like somebody's...
Somebody Skibbity. Yeah, so back to the script.
Oh yeah, the mask. But yeah, you know, I wanted to you know, just really explore that a person is not really doing well in a society that like fame is everything. And with being an actor, you know, because I'm an actor at heart, there's always a major conflict of just wanting to get the attention, wanting to get people to see you for what you are, for the talent that you have, for the talent that you could bring to the world. And I feel that that's every entertainer and artist, that desire to be more, desire to be seen. And I was thinking, what would happen if a person that was struggling as an artist had that tool? They would be the biggest thing. They would go complete apeshit.
All right, I'm making this your fucking problem.
And you know, when Madison ends up with the mask, the first time, it's under the worst circumstances.
Yeah.
I was half expecting that she was going to put it on in the construction zone, and I was like, that's going to end in something really crazy for the building.
Yeah, everybody was like, put it on.
Oh my God. Do you know the amount of like weird comments they actually get tagged in every day? That's like,
God.
what is Ashley, how do you take off the mask? How do you take off the mask?
Yeah.
You've gotten those too. I've gotten those.
Yes.
I've gotten,
Yeah,
how does
oh,
she take off
God,
the
yeah.
mask? Why is she putting on the mask? You know what I got? You know what I got today? I got, can Ashley put the mask on her butt? Ass. It was ass. I don't know why I said. Can Madison put the mask on her ass? I'm like, why?
The mess.
You know,
I
like,
don't know.
Oh, God.
That would be
There's
so
gotta
cool.
be some fetish. Like, there's gotta be some fetish out there. I didn't even know it, but all these like weird, these people asking me to.
Yeah, I never realized.
How do you take it off? How do you put it
like
on?
a kink to like putting a mask on a face.
I know.
I take the mask off, put it back on.
Take that.
And as we've seen in the episode, we're talking about when you put the mask on a different part of your body, it does nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, like what if I put the mask on my hand? What is is it gonna be a hand mask? No.
I mean, it's the fucking video I sent you with the guy putting the mask on. Yeah, you know what I'm
Oh,
talking about, right?
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
The guy that was asking about Ashley put that mask on was the one that was he sent me that video about 3 times.
God.
Over like the course of like 4 months. And I'm like,
I'm
she's
sorry
not putting the
about that.
mask on her, but it's not gonna happen. All right, shut up. Like,
In the words of Regina Mean Girl, stop trying to make Ashley putting the mask on her butt happen. It's not gonna happen.
It's not happening.
like this is not a mask porn, okay? All right, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Okay?
I've actually always wondered what would happen if a bug found the mask, if it like put its face right inside.
Are you ready for my dad joke of the evening?
Yes.
Oh, dear.
If the bug wore the mask, the bug would be Bugging out.
Ah.
Da-da-da.
Would you still love me if I was a worm with the mask on?
Fuck it, let's just give the personification of cartoon trauma the mask to all of them.
Yay. Also obligatory Milo being a good boy comment here.
Oh,
I mean-
by the way, did you guys know another mask trivia that I've been on the hunt ever since, and I know it exists, but I've never been able to find it. Back in the early 2000s, there was a show called Hype, and it was a Mad TV SNL type variety show. And it was on WB, and it got canceled after like one season. And they had some big names on there. And my point is, one of the episodes had somebody portraying Drew Carey,
Oh,
and the Drew Carey person wore the mask.
Holy shit.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Now that
Yeah.
would be amazing. Oh my god.
oh my
Yeah.
god, yeah, we gotta find this.
Yeah, but he failed miserably, and it's just like because it's Drew Carey, so he's like, oh yeah, smoking, you know. Yeah.
Wait, so did you like watch this when it aired, or?
I watched it when it aired. I remember watching it as a kid, and I'm just like, wow, this is so weird. I can't find it nowhere.
Let's put Bob Saget in the mask now. Oh god, he is joking about things nobody should be joking about. Oh my god. Oh my god, please get the mask off of him for his career's sake.
Drew Carey has the mask, but he plays it like he did Geppetto.
Oh god, no.
Oh, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put the mask on Gilbert Gottfried and have him do an aristocrats joke.
Yes, that would be amazing.
And that would be illegal.
It would break the universe and I'd allow it.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
would be laughing and puking.
So Geordy, when you were writing the script, like how did a lot of the jokes come to you? Did they just flow naturally, or did you just have to like really think them out?
They came around like the settings, and like the idea that you have a character who's who's having a bad day. You have Briggs, who he's that quirky guy, but he also really digs Madison. And then you have that one guy that works at a store that he's just pulling his hours in. He got the job years ago, and he's just kind of stuck there. And so he goes in there, has a little book, and fuck everybody else, And I've come across those people, and I myself am a very, very awkward, quirky person. So it wasn't that much of like a stretch, like a lot of those jokes just like, would come. But also it's a lot of the actors, there were things that were happening during the shoot that took whatever jokes that were in the script and pushed it even further. And just like, there was even improv during the script that was just like, wow, like took it to another level. And made it even more hilarious.
One thing that did confuse me about the teaser. So, what is the E word that Aaron talks about?
The E word. That's a good question. That is a very good question, because I remember at the time I knew, and then as time went on, it kind of went away. Like seeing what the
E word.
We're gonna open it up to interpretation. Ashley, what do you think is the E word?
I even remember as Madison, like thinking to myself and mouthing it, the E word. I didn't think I knew either.
Yeah, I saw that in the thing.
Yeah, that was improv. That was improvised by Aaron. And
I think it was even funnier that it's so difficult to even like think of like E word.
yeah, because even now I'm sitting here and I'm trying to think what the hell that was.
You know what? I bet it's a slur for like, okay, so when humans finally start colonizing other planets, we're gonna find the alien species, and you know what? Because colonizer's gonna colonizer, we're gonna have a slur for the aliens.
Yeah, there you go.
We don't know what it is yet, but apparently it starts with an E.
It starts with an E. Now we're putting that out there. Now it has to be done.
Huzzah.
But yeah, when Aaron says it, and it was hilarious because you are mouthing it, but it's because but you're also like uncomfortable being there because you got all that stuff around you, and then like he just abandoned you, and you're just like the E word.
So yeah, watching the teaser, we get this brief thing at the end where we have like the voiceover of Ashley as the mask. And I gotta say, like, you already have this role down pat. What was it like, developing this role, especially, following in Jim Carrey's footsteps?
Well, honestly, how can I put it? It's kind of like me, but it's like, it's I am such a weirdo that it's like this just comes easy to me, you know. And not saying that like the mask is just. I mean, the mask is weird, but it's kind of just like letting that part of myself, which I don't like to show other people, that strange kind of like super confident part. It's kind of just delving into that part of like my psyche and just letting it be free and letting it out. And obviously, of course, I've watched actually a couple of the cartoons, which I really like. And, you know, I've also watched the movies as well, but it's really kind of just allowing that part of myself to just come out and do a little dance in front of the camera.
Yeah,
Sometimes you
totally.
just gotta dance in front of the camera.
Yeah.
And the teaser, it was done to give the fans that first look as to what we're doing and to get people excited because it's a legendary story, you know, it's a legendary concept, you know, 90s big thing, you know, and obviously with what we're doing, you know, it takes a ton of money to get going. So we have our crowdfunder up. So we made that also get more attention towards that crowdfunder to get that budget going.
And you guys are off to a good start already. You guys are in the 2,000 something range, and you guys had a fundraiser recently to help boost that, and that went in your favor.
Yeah, we got 27.
And hopefully our episode can also help really get the word out and help get people to see, oh wow, something really cool is coming from this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, hopefully, yeah, because you know what, it takes a lot in with the makeup and with the effects, you know, because we don't got that Warner Brothers budget.
But you guys have more passion for this project than Warner Brothers themselves has had for the mask in like, what, 20 years?
30 years next year.
Oh, God,
Yeah.
I hate the people in charge of that company so fucking much.
Remember when Space Jam 2 was just one of the blunders of the 2020s for Warner Brothers? Yay.
Yeah, I just found out, actually, and I already tweeted about this. I just found out Hasbro had their 100th anniversary, and I didn't even know what they had done when I found that out. Turns out it was actually a 100th anniversary edition Monopoly game. Kind of hard to fuck that up, so they win for that. They had a better 100th than Disney and Warner Brothers combined.
I think that this fan film, and you know, I may be very biased here, but I think this fan film is gonna hit waves because a lot of people have nostalgia for the mask itself, and the mask, of course, lends itself to just so many ideas that you can have. Like, you know, someone on Instagram was talking about, you know, you guys got to make like an 80s mask movie, and you were like, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yes.
But like,
Yeah.
there are so many opportunities for the mask to just do its own thing.
Yeah, it opens the door for a lot. And this movie opens it, you know, to a lot of different avenues. You know, we've also had people that were like, oh, you know, why are we doing a female mask? You know, it's like, because I want to do a female mask. And it's been in the animated series, it's been in comics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, it's a free fucking country.
Exactly. Exactly. People are like, oh, yeah, are we going to get a man mask? Are we going to get this and that? And it's like, just watch and see. Because we have we have like a lot of things. We're going ape shit with this. Like,
Yeah.
we're going
Oh
like,
my God,
really,
yes.
We're pulling every trick out of the book for this. You know, we want it to.
Yeah, I'm super excited for it too. And I have a lot of faith in, you know, Laughing Hearse Entertainment and Geordy too, because it's just the vibes that were on set were just so good. And I can't wait to dive in.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
hell yeah.
Yes.
And Ashley and
yeah.
and the whole cast is amazing. I'm telling you, like, and what you see, you know, Ashley do with this character is going to be unprecedented.
We're very excited about it, you know, because recently we did an episode on the movie Freaked, which has a character that does some really great female slapstick, and I feel like you don't really see enough of that in this generation.
Yeah,
no,
that
you
mo-
don't.
No,
And the
no.
thing is, that movie ended up being so fucking good. We talked about it for 3 goddamn hours.
Yes. In Hollywood, we crave weird. More
Yes,
weird,
we
please.
do.
Why
I'm
do you?
so-
Yeah.
It's like people have been calling it Holly weird for fucking decades now. Just
Yes.
own it. Stop
Yeah.
trying to like, oh, but the demographics, oh, but the marketing. Be fucking weird. You're Holly
Yes.
weird, not Holly boring.
And don't let
Exactly.
QAnon freaks claim Holly weird. Come on.
Yeah, no, we can't have that.
Yeah,
have it.
absolutely not. There's a reason, you know. It's so funny. A lot of the people in the Daily Wire are failed writers or actors or like, you know, people who were like trying to get into Hollywood, but they failed, and now they're doing lady ballers.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah.
See how well it went for them?
But yeah, no, seriously, guys, you know, We'll plug it at the end of the episode, but please, if you can, donate to The Mask Gone Viral. Don't donate to The Mask Gone Viral just because it has a female mask. Don't donate to The Mask Gone Viral just because it's indie filmmaking. Donate to tell Warner Brothers to go fuck themselves.
Hell
Yes.
I mean, you can
yes,
still
every
donate for all the
donation.
other reasons. All
Well,
those
yeah.
other reasons are great.
Oh yeah, no, those are
All
still
of them are-
valid.
yeah.
Those are still very valid reasons, but like, just think about it. Just think, you're telling Warner Brothers, hey, you haven't been making any quality fucking content lately, you dipshits.
Yeah, let's stir the pot.
No, but seriously, do support indie filmmakers.
Hell yeah.
Especially when those indie filmmakers do Warner Brothers properties better than Warner Brothers themselves.
Especially since all the big studios decided, oh, we can't possibly just give striking actors and writers what they want. We'd have to drag it out for months and just refuse to give them a fair deal. And now there's barely any movies coming out in 2024. Good job, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, last
Yep.
writer's strike we got in like the 2000s gave us the birth of the golden age of reality TV. We got Kim, there's people dying from the last writer's strike. Strike as long as you fucking need to.
Yeah, so let's finally get into this Mask episode. This is the season 1 finale, Split Personality, and I gotta say, after the last Mask episode we did, this is a breath of fresh air. This is fucking great.
There were some moments in this that felt like the comics almost.
Yeah, literally, because Walter, a character from the comics, is a main character in this episode.
Yeah.
Oh, cameos! I love cameos.
Well, no, it's not a cameo, because he is like a recurring character in this. You know,
Oh,
for-
okay.
For those who don't know, Walter in the comics was sort of an assassin that never spoke. He was this brooding Hulk, and he would literally just fucking smash heads. And in this, he does do that, but without the head smashing stuff, and it's still pretty damn cool.
It's funny. There's just kind of a Frankenstein in this cartoon.
Yes.
He doesn't look like how he does in the comics. He kind of looks more like Lurch from the Addams Family.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. He's very lurchy.
Imagine if Lurch hated you and kept trying to kill you. It's really not that big a threat.
It's basically Lurch on unemployment.
It's like, okay, let me just like slightly move to the left. Oh, you're down.
Something that is super funny to me that I enjoyed about that episode is him ordering at the bar. Geordy was
Oh
like
yeah.
almost exactly like the audition, which I thought
Oh
was
my
hilarious.
God. Oh my God. I didn't even catch that. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Because
Yeah,
what is he?
he's
I
at the bar.
I was dying when he said he ordered. He was like,
Then making a red hot battery acid pile driver, extra formaldehyde, a dirty glass with a black widow spider riding on the olive.
Yeah, when we got to the bar scene and he's ordering this weird fucking drink with all this dangerous shit in it, I thought to myself, oh, hey, it's the Panera charged lemonade.
oh no.
Yeah, I'm so dumb. I literally did not put two and two together. It's so weird how like that literally is in the show.
I
Yeah.
love 2023. We start with a Chinese spy balloon and end with Panera lemonade that kills you.
Yeah.
So, going into the episode, the fight between the Mask and Walter in this is just so fucking great. There's no rhyme or reason as to why they're fighting each other. They just are. Like it's a fucking Tom and Jerry episode.
And they're on like a building. They're on like a building like rooftop.
Yeah, there's like high stakes, and Walter literally rips like a clock hand off of the clock, and it's fucking great. And they have a sword fight.
Like what I love the most, and I wish that they would have done a live action of that particular moment when he falls and he's grabbing onto the mask's face and he drags him down, but he drags
Yeah, I
only the
can
face
just
down.
See that with Jim Carrey's face.
It was just like a great gag.
And the
Yeah,
swordfish gag, that was
Yeah.
amazing.
That was funny. I really love like the little quips. I was seriously giggling at this episode. It was like surprisingly funny.
Yeah, Ash, real quick, going back to the Going Viral teaser, a lot of how you played the mask in that reminded me a lot of how Rob Paulson plays the mask in this, mainly when you say lines like,
Oh my god, it's my favorite song!
and I'm just like, holy shit, she really is the mask. I love that immediately after Walter lets go of the mask's face, it cuts and he's sort of like turning this fucking Picasso piece, and then he stretches his face slightly back to normal, but his eye is kind of slanted, so he looks like the Toxic Avenger.
That was so freaking cool. And if there's anything that I really love about this series, Rob Paulson is fantastic in this series as both Stanley and the Mask.
His
Yeah.
voice acting is incredible.
Oh
Yeah.
It really is. Like, how he doesn't have, like, a star on the Walk of Fame at this point is beyond me. This guy is, like, everything. He's one of those guys, too, who, like, his voice is, like, mainly kind of the same in most of his roles, but, like, slight variations,
Slightly, yes.
but it
Yes,
just
slightly
works on
different.
every fucking role.
I never knew that he voiced them up until like a couple of years ago. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, this is no wonder I adore it so much.
It was actually pretty recently, like, a few years ago, I learned he was Carl fucking Weezer.
What?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No.
Well, I mean, I know that now, but like it was, I forget how many years ago, but it was actually like pretty well into my 20s I learned that.
For what it's worth, for some reason, I didn't know that Gerald Ford wasn't Nixon's vice president. Spiro Agnew was until I was in my early 20s. So,
Well, wasn't he, I think it was, did he have two vice presidents? I forget.
probably.
Let's ask our friend Google. Hang on.
So
So Richard Nixon.
So comparing these episodes, I feel like while the
Yep.
first episode we reviewed wasn't necessarily bad, except for the ending, I feel like it was kind of a case of first couple of episodes syndrome, where it was kind of still finding its ground, whereas this episode fully knew what it wanted to be.
Also, I looked it up. Richard Nixon had two vice presidents: Spiro Agnew, 1969 to 1973; Gerald Ford, 1973 to 1974. Gerald Ford was the one who pardoned him after he resigned.
Oh, that makes sense.
Phew.
Okay.
Yeah.
Super quick condensed history lesson.
Yay, I was right.
Kit, going off of what you were saying, I totally agree. I kind of feel like, with like kind of this all-star cast of veteran, voice actors and everything, kind of trying to emulate this Jim Carrey movie from the 90s, you can tell that they're kind of taking some liberties and they're a little bit restricted in what they can and can't do. But here, this feels less like a Mask spinoff and more like its own thing, separate from the movie entirely, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the fact the mask breaks.
It's hilarious. It doesn't break by the steamroller, like running it over, but it breaks
this
by
whole
the
fucking
punch.
Yeah.
conga of heavy shit rolling on top of it.
Yes.
No, just
yeah.
Walter fucking punches Stanley in the chest. That's how the mask breaks.
Yes.
That's what the mask is.
And Stanley Ipkiss is completely fine, just a little bit like roughed over. But
I mean, his ribs aren't fucking shattered, but he does come into work with basically a mask fucking hangover.
I love the words mask hangover.
we gotta do something with that on the promotion.
I actually wonder sometimes what that come down is like. Like, you put this mask on and suddenly it's like you're pretty much just like a huge asshole version of yourself just going around doing cartoony shenanigans, feeling like a fucking Jesus. And then you take it off and you're just like, holy shit.
I imagine your feet hurt and your teeth hurt. I think it would be a lot of like teeth and feet.
Oh yeah, I feel like your gums would especially be dry.
Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
god.
Like you'd definitely be chugging water after that.
Also, my only complaint about this episode, no Milo.
No,
Yeah,
Milo.
why
no
the
Milo.
fuck no? What? Why the fuck no Milo?
He's a good boy.
Yeah, zero
Yeah.
burn the tapes. Not kidding, but yeah, so then we get introduced to the character of Chet Bozak, voiced by Dan Castellaneta, and I was legit getting Alfred E. Newman vibes.
I could see that.
Yes. Yeah. And
So it turns out that Chet was Stanley's school bully, and we get this flashback to what I'm guessing is the 70s. So of course this is back when teens could freely bully each other and not face consequence. Actually, that hasn't changed at all, really. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, back in the 70s, it was bullying. Nowadays, it's shooting.
Honestly, when I first saw Chet, I thought he was a grown-up version of the Tattletale kid from Recess.
And honestly, like with the animation with the face, I couldn't see him as a bully. I saw him
I
kind of
couldn't
like
see
being
him
like,
It's like the nerd, yeah.
yeah, like he looks like really nerdy, and then it's like Stanley, I dig you and everything, but bro, like you let a nerd bully you, bro. Like
I love cartoon bullies so much because they prepared me as a child for "give me your lunch money, nerd" type bullies, and not for the vicious fucking psychopaths that are actually bullies in school.
Oh god, no, seriously.
I
will
wish
say-
it was "give me your lunch money, dweeb."
I will
Yeah.
say, while I do like this series overall, and I actually do think the animation looks really good, sometimes I really wish it had been a Spielberg-produced cartoon like Animaniacs or Tiny Toons, because imagining it with a really big budget, oh man, they could go all
Yeah,
out in the
yeah.
cartoon.
Yeah, that would have been really, there would have been a lot of pop culture references too, for sure, because the Pig in the Brain did so much of that.
So one thing I wanted to note too about Charlie is that he gets a lot more to do in this than the last episode, and there's this really weird arc where he doesn't think Stanley is the mask anymore because he threw it in the river at the end of the first movie. But there are plenty of times, especially in this episode, where it's pretty clear that Stanley still is the mask.
It's like Clark Kent Superman syndrome again. He just paints his face green.
Yeah, I never see you guys in the same room. Wow.
I love that joke where Charlie's like, put your best face on, and then Stanley just has to immediately hide the mask in the drawer.
You know, it's kind of suspicious. I've never seen you and the mask in the same room, but I've seen you share two halves of the same body. Well, I'm not going to question anything any further.
You're doing a really bad job of hiding your body, and you keep pulling these signs out from the other side of you. I don't know how that works, but
I'm just not going to question the color of your left arm.
I do love the sign gags where, he's pulling out signs like underwear too tight, Charles.
Fire me, why don't you?
It's the side of me that really wants to quit my fucking job, and then the other side of me that's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? We need fucking money.
Also, going back to the scene where Stanley gets reintroduced to Chet Bozak, Chet has this line, he says,
"Let's check out the indoor plumbing, for old time's sake."
phrasing.
Roadhouse.
And speaking of phrasing, there's a part where Stanley says, he wants to flush me. And then Charlie's like, well, he probably just likes water sports. Good night, everybody.
And that water sports line does have a payoff, so.
Actually,
And it's
during
not
the
the kind of payout you're thinking of, you sick fucks.
during the flashbacks, I don't know why, I was half expecting Chet to just shove Stanley onto the buzzsaw and kill him.
See, here's the thing. This is what makes him not really a school bully. He's about to end a life and he's having second thoughts about it. The terrifying thing about bullies is that they want you to die.
Here's what kind of confuses me about the gist of this episode, which, when the mask splits in two, Stanley puts it on. One half is him, the other half is the mask, and they're both fully aware of this, but the mask is, parading Stanley around town in Edge City without issue, but Stanley is not worried at all about his cover being blown with his secret identity.
Yeah, it's like this one short from Gravity Falls where Dipper kept trying to figure out the mystery of a guy who's only ever seen from his left side. Like, somebody's gonna figure it out, dude.
Especially when you see a random suit arm, that's like a human waving out of a tornado.
It turns out, actually, when you're a two-dimensional cell animation drawing, it's really easy to only show your side profile.
Really, there are, near misses. During the bar scene, Mrs. Peenman has a cameo where she directly looks at him and still doesn't suspect anything.
Yeah.
Also, Charlie made a comment about roadkill, and I was like, boo, he didn't say, hey, look, Ma, before it.
The absolute key to being a superhero. You need to live in the city with the worst short-term memory on average in the population.
Huzzah.
Yeah. And I just noticed they used the one of the original gags from the movie, but they just switched it up a little bit. Like when the mask ended up getting stomped with a big gigantic cement thing.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember that.
But it only got the mask side.
Yeah, because that was the joke in the original script where, after he falls out of the window and gets flattened on the pavement, the road roller comes onto him and he looks at his suit. He's like, hey, you fucking missed a spot. And then a second road roller comes in and does the same thing. And he goes, that's better.
Also, when Walter was ripping apart that truck, how didn't that driver die?
You'd think that Walter would have a kill count at this point, really.
I killed all these random civilians, but I can't kill this one specifically. That'd be too far.
And that's another thing, too, I just remembered, is that, you have the character of Kellaway, who the entire point of his character is that he wants to prove that the Mask and Stanley are the same person. He's not in this episode at all.
Yeah, this would have been the perfect opportunity. And he's just magically not around.
This is kind of jumping ahead, but when it does cut to Chet with his version of the mask and it shows him pulling out like a glove with knives, I was like, wrong Chuck Russell movie to reference.
Yeah, did you guys notice that his suit that he was wearing was the inverse of the mask's suit color?
Oh, now that you mentioned that. That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
I did not notice that.
I love little shit like that so much.
I have a feeling, and again, this isn't to insult the writers of the first couple of episodes. This episode was written by a Mask fan for sure.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
they knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
Also, when I found out that his name is Chet Bozak, I was just like, Chet Bozak Horseman. He's a guy who severely regrets his past.
Back in the 70s.
I was a very famous bully.
Back in the 90s, there was actually a good Mask movie.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Speaking of that, I forgot to say, it's like, I totally forgot to say this, but what I love about this show is that I'm so glad The Mask came out in like the early 90s, because I swear the mid to late 80s and the early 90s was this era where every single fucking movie that came out on Earth that was even a little bit successful got its own cartoon or sitcom too. Some of them, yeah, no, like the fucking Uncle Buck sitcom.
Oh,
Some
God.
of them, or the Dumb and Dumber cartoon. Some of
Yes.
them work perfectly as serialized cartoons, and that includes Back to the Future and The Mask.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
Also, I really thought Charlie was gonna die during that scene, but instead he's just naked.
So, what is the opposite of drip? Because I feel like that can clearly go for the leopard print suit that he's wearing when he gets the Kokobongo.
Icicle? Or
That
like
was-
petrified? I don't know.
I'm thinking more clogged plumbing.
Oh, ew.
Ew.
Clogged.
Sorry.
Yeah, there we go. The opposite of drip is clogged.
Yay. Also, when he gave him that chicken suit, I was like, oh, dear God, no, I don't need to be reminded of Hatching Pete.
I love that for some reason after Chet gets off the phone with his therapist and he's gloating about how he didn't flush Stanley's head down the toilet, he immediately goes to harassing Walter.
Yeah. The biggest guy in town.
Yeah, the brooding Hulk walking down the street who could easily rip your fucking head off.
Yeah. Let me be a dick to him after I'm so proud of like being a nice guy. I don't think you're a nice guy at all. I think you're just going for the justification.
This
Also-
guy is gonna have such a good future as an internet troll.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I did feel a little bad for Chet because it was very clear that he had done all the work to be a better person as he was, and this Ness was now like, no, your violent tendencies will always be you. It's kind of sad to see.
Yeah. I love that, when Stanley is half him, half mask for the first time, the mask just takes the opportunity to like take him out to do all these things like, hey, we'll go see a movie together. We'll go fucking do water sports.
Yes. And also,
Hey,
I love
Stanley, let's go fuck your wife.
they couldn't get Cameron Diaz for this.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Imagine what that's like.
So yeah, we get the scene where Chet beats the crap out of Charlie basically. And for some reason, he still doesn't, I don't know.
Charlie's has selective focus. Like, he'll focus on someone being the mask when it's plot relevant.
ADHD as hell. I respect
Yay.
it.
At this rate, nothing surprises me anymore. Somebody could walk up to me with like half their face painted green and be like, hey, what's up? And I'll be like, normal day.
Well, you live in
Yep.
California, so
Yay.
as if I have any right to say anything, I live in Rhode Island.
Yeah, so the Edge City High fight scene between Stanley and Chet is just so fucking great.
Yes. I fucking love that they have a big old battle in the woodcutting class.
God, I fucking wish Saturday morning cartoons were given more of a budget so they could have made this much cooler than it was.
But can I also make a point to the fact that with all the bullying that he went through, Stanley, he's not even really angry at him. He just wants to be left alone.
I'm kind of disappointed that Stanley didn't really take the route of once he got the full mask back, he's just going to fuck with Chet Bozak for revenge. No, he doesn't really go for that. He kind of chooses to be the bigger person.
Stanley is literally like, that side of you that's like, please don't stir the pot, versus that side of you that's like, stir the shit out of that pot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Basically, Stanley kind of just wants to move on with his life, and the mask represents his desire for revenge.
The
My
mask
favorite
is the
part.
side of you that just wants to be a fucking bitch.
I think my favorite part of the Stanley versus Chet fight was when they just start pulling out these fucking hammers and it turns into basically a dick measuring contest.
Yes.
Yeah. My hammer is bigger than yours.
And I love that he tricks him into smacking himself on the head by giving him a wet willy.
Well, no, it falls on his foot. So both sides of his face do the fucking eye pop gag. Which,
Ouch!
yeah, that's the thing. I'm very confused about the biology of this. Because there's plenty of moments where, like, Stanley as the mask squashes his body down in the fight scenes. And I'm thinking, like, this has got to be so fucking painful for him. And then it happens again when he splits himself in half during the fight with Walter.
Okay, but what about all the G's he's experiencing while he does that fucking Tasmanian devil spin?
And
I think that would kill somebody.
I would probably get whiplash.
And I'm not gonna lie, that one gag where Stanley's about to give him a wedgie and fucking attack dog comes out of his ass.
Yes, that fucking wedgie security system gag is so great.
I actually laughed when that happened.
That's the thing. The writing for this show is just so solid. It's a quip every 5 seconds, and it's just so perfect.
absolutely. It's just so lighthearted and fun. Although the part where Stanley's head just split in two between him and the mask, and like when Walter punches between it, I was like, that's got to give him severe head trauma.
Jesus,
God.
I'd rather get punched in the back of the head, actually, than have it rip in half.
I'm a little bit confused. I don't know how Walter's able to break the mask, but he's not able to wear it. Is it something due to his biology or how he's made?
Oh no, that actually happened in the comics. It was in The Mask Strikes Back. At the end of that, Walter finally gets the mask after harassing the other guys wearing it, and he puts it on, nothing happens. So I'm guessing it's either the mask doesn't want to work for him or his face is too big. Which, I kind of had this theory as to why the mask works in the daytime in this show. So, you remember, like, in the scene in the film where Stanley is trying to get the mask to work in Dr. Newman's office? I think how it works is that the mask willfully chooses when to and when not to work.
Absolutely. It's a little troll.
Yeah.
So it can work in the daytime, it just doesn't want to. Also, I love the joke, too, where Stanley and Chet make up, and Chet's talking about how he wants to leave Edge City to become better, and Stanley's like, well, I think Charlie would agree with that. And all of a sudden, Charlie just fucking shows up in the chicken suit. How the fuck did he know where they were?
He smelled them.
Yeah, he's like, you're fired.
That's literally all he does in the scene. He pops up, says, you're fired, and then fucking leaves.
And then the mask has full control over Stanley again. The end.
Yay.
Yay.
Yay!
So, yeah, I'll say keep the tapes for this episode.
Yeah, I really did like this one. It was just a really fun time. The concept of the mask splitting in half is very creative.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
And, this is, of course, at the point in the show where everybody was really starting to find their footing. Like I said, this feels not so much as a continuation of the movie, but more so its own standalone kind of show.
Yeah, kind of like a kid-friendly adaptation of the comics.
No, I think it was a very, very well done episode. And honestly, I remember watching when I was a kid, and this was one of my favorite episodes. The other episode I loved was when the mask was being controlled by
Oh,
Victorious.
yeah, the Sister Mask episode.
Yeah.
That's the one where Tim Curry wears the mask, and it's so fucking epic.
Yeah,
Hell
I love that
yeah.
one, but it was for the fans. Like, what would happen if the mask met like Ipkiss? It's a great idea.
And also, because I didn't say it earlier in the episode, I'll say it here. I'm still disappointed that Loki Season 2 didn't have an episode where they time travel to the Son of the Mask set and Loki meets Alan Cumming as Loki.
Yeah, you would think.
Oh, rest in peace, Bob Hoskins. We could have had him as Odin in the MCU.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, Ashley, what about you?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the comedy and the script was really well done. And obviously I really enjoyed the voice acting as well. Overall, I watched it twice, actually. It was really
okay.
interesting. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I thought it was
Yeah.
super funny.
Gonna be a keep the tapes from me. Like I said, if any early 90s movie deserved its own cartoon adaptation, it was fucking this one over all the rest of
Yeah.
them. I love
Yeah, it
this
was very good.
show.
Absolutely. And
I can't. I physically can't hate this. And you got Rob Paulson as the fucking Mask too. Like,
absolutely. And again, like I said, I feel like by this episode, they really knew what they wanted to do with this series and really help with the continuation with the Mask rather than be like, oh, hey, popular movie, let's make it into an animated series.
All right, so Geordy and Ashley, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. This was so great.
yeah,
you
we had
kidding?
much
Thanks for having
fun.
us.
It was
Thanks
fun.
for having us.
All right, so is there anything you guys want to plug?
Watch The Mask on Viral. Help us get the budget. Definitely check out our crowdfunder. We got to make $250K to get this movie happening.
Yes.
So definitely help get us there, guys. Put your bucks in, please.
You can follow me at ashpope333 on Instagram. And yeah, also follow The Mask on Viral on Instagram as well.
Yeah,
Yes.
check us out. The Mask on Viral. It literally is The Mask on Viral on Instagram. And Laughing Hearse. We also have the IG for that, Laughing Hearse.
By the time this episode is out, I will have officially abandoned all social media. You can reach me at Mission Breakout on Discord. You can find me on Muppet Vision 3D on Letterboxd. And I will be trying to share the Mask on Viral crowdfunding campaign to everyone I can. Otherwise, I am disappeared. Yay!
You can find me nowhere because I hate social media and I hope it dies.
Yay!
By
By
the recluse. As for me, you can find me on the usual spots: Tyler FG on Twitter, Tyler FG96 on Instagram, Tyler FG on Blue Sky. As for the show, you can find us on Twitter at channel_KRT, Channel KRT Podcast, all one word, on Instagram, and Channel KRT on Blue Sky. We also have our Discord server and our Facebook group, which you can find in the link tree in our Twitter bio. And if you want to help support us, you can also check us out on Patreon and Ko-Fi. On Patreon, we have exclusive minisodes, outtakes, and episodes of this very podcast at its earliest convenience. And on Ko-Fi, we just have exclusive minisodes and outtakes for $5 a pop. And of course, thank you to our pals Paul Spicknall, Tony Goldmark, Ashley Hines, and Chris Reyna for pledging to us the $10 level. And a huge thank you to our executive producer, Gomer. Alright, Channel KRT, it's party time.
Drinking.